State Law Advisor and the Parliament, your last words.
Thanks, Chair. The part that the member says talks about is already in 14, Chair. It says if the lifting of the suspension does not affect the housing consumer consent adversely. Transitional arrangements, Chair, by their nature are arrangements that you bring in where you're transitioning from a previous regime to a new one. So we would be transitioning from the current act, the act that the council is using now, to this one that we're busy with now. So once this one commences, now we need to arrange that transition to say what happens to the way that things that were done in terms of that act. So you need to bring in that clarity in legislation so that it's clear to the council, the consumers, to industry, what happens in the transition that you would have gone through. So these provisions are meant to deal with that, Chair. So as far as I'm concerned, Chair, I'm certain that 14 covers the interest of the consumer, because it says council may lift is an empowering provision, so, Chairperson, that may the evinces an empowering provision. So it empowers council to consider the merits of the case, to look at the case and say, are we doing it or not doing it? So it's a power that you're given, and you must exercise that power rationally in terms of the law. Otherwise, you can be challenged, Chair. So the council would need to apply its mind to whether it is advisable to do that in the circumstances of a particular case. And then in doing so, the last part after the comma there says, if the lifting of the suspension does not affect the housing consumer adversely. Adversely means negatively. So if the lifting of the suspension does not affect the housing consumer consent adversely. So it's there, Chairperson, in the provision. Thanks, Chair.
Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can we have Parliament Legal Service and Ms. Khai, you'll make your follow-up.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm covered by the State Law Advisor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Khai, you want to follow up?
Chair, it may happen that I wanted to get an empowerment from all the officials that are assisting us about what are those adversely issues that will necessitate the release of this home builder. I want to make an example as a lay person. The Procurement Public Finance Management Act talks about giving a tender to Siswai contractors. Then the department makes a deviation. They don't take me to tender. And then there's a list of issues that necessitated that deviation, which is an administrative issue. Is it going to, are they going to be the officials, generally, even in this act, what's going to follow to implement this act in detail of each provision? Are there issues that are going to be detailed, like the example that I've made on a deviation?